the camera thing later.
And that's it. Come on. I'm not sure I'm still there. Okay. I'm back. Sorry for that breaking transmission. And so basically, like we talked about the 6 questions. Who am I selling to? Why do they buy? How do I build relationships? Why do they choose? Why should they choose me? Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes an SMEs make really are the things we're talking about today. So one of the biggest mistakes an SMEs make is trying to sell to everybody. Just a quick recap of all the things we've been talking about. Someone says I sell to everybody, I cook for everybody, my fashion brand is for everyone, my service is for all. Nobody's your priority. I recall that there was a time where maybe people want to deliver. I know a lot of people that want to deliver, do delivery services for their business. They say we'll deliver around Nigeria. It's so difficult for you to deliver around Nigeria. So because of that, maybe you deliver in Lagos excellently. Then somebody orders from Kaduna. It takes 2 weeks to get to them. Then they give you bad reviews online, and you're complaining. So you have to focus on your strengths. You can't serve everybody. If you want to serve everybody, then certainly you're not in business. And that's what we've been talking about. Then you are still hustling because certainly there's no structure to your business. So you should know your market, know the people you are dealing with, and tailor your business to that segment of the populace. Then look at it in this way. We're looking at a meat delivery business. Someone says, I sell food to everyone. You can't sell to everybody now. Somebody asks you, okay, what about if I call in and say I want to wash shinkafa? Do you have it? You don't. And when you don't, then that means you already have a problem there. So, but your description should be that, okay, maybe you provide affordable weekly lunch delivery for busy professionals walking around the Keja, walking around the Lausa. Clearly, you have to have that because you're not really going to, let's take the instance of lunch. Are you going to say, I provide lunch for people in Songwater when your business is in Maryland? Then you're going to have a problem because before your food gets there, then maybe it's dinner time already. So you have to be mindful of that. All these things matter. That's why we keep saying that you must continue to have repeat customers. And you can only have repeat customers where you're able to serve that segment which your business is servicing, and you're able to service them in a professional way and in a very good way that they're satisfied, rather than spreading yourself thin to say, I'm serving everybody. So for a business that says, okay, we provide affordable weekly lunch delivery for busy professionals working around the Ikeja and Alausa, then the business now knows what to sell, knows where to advertise, and what kind of content to create. And it knows the time to use and what price range may work and where to find customers because you have a niche already. So that is how a business has structure. Then we have the Vonto customer clarity test, which is who exactly do I serve? So for instance, that business that serves food, we say, okay, I serve busy professionals, people that work in offices, clearly, and you have to be clear. So it's not people that work on construction sites because the kind of food they need is different from the ones that people that work in offices need. Then what is the problem you are trying to solve? This is the key. In everything we've talked about, you should take this. You should know the problem you are trying to solve. Because people just start business, when they started pure water, everybody gets in there. They started this, everybody gets in there. What problem are you solving? You're not even solving the problem. There's no problem at all, sir. You just get into a business that is not solving any problem. Then that's the challenge already. So you have to be clear about the problem you're trying to solve. Then you have to also be clear about the behavior. How do they currently solve that problem right now? Then the question is, what makes them willing to spend money? You have to know what will make a customer willing to spend money. Then the location, where can you reach them? That is very clear because you can't go and say, okay, you want to solve a problem of busy professionals serving them lunch, and you think you go to a location where maybe it's construction workers you have or maybe just more of housewives, then you're going to have a challenge. So the key lesson is that you cannot effectively market to people. You have not taken the time to understand. Take time to understand people. That's the hard work. You have to be very intentional in business. People are not intentional. They just do guesswork and inshallah, somebody just tells you, this thing they move for, this one they do this one. The time has passed for that kind of this thing. A lot of people have got into business that way and they've burnt their fingers. So this is clear. So we have an action point here which says you must be able to fill in the gaps. My ideal customer is this. Who needs this? Because of this. So who is your ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? So let's say, for instance, business serving lunch, a busy professional. Don't say my ideal customer is a busy professional in the Keja or Alausa who needs lunch, quality lunch. Yes. And because of what? Why does he need it there? Because he can't come to you because of his convenience. So you must know what it is you're trying to solve. And that is clear. So the second one is understanding how Nigerians buy. The Nigerian buyer behavior map. Nigerians are different. So I see a lot of e-commerce, all these lectures you see online and everything. Some of the things that happen in America, the way they buy and all that things is not the way we buy here. Because first of all, our purchasing power is different. Our culture, we have cultural differences. We have trust issues in Nigeria, serious trust issues. So knowing your customer is only the beginning. You must understand how they make decisions. A Nigerian customer can see your product and not buy. He might buy next week, he might not even buy. He might keep asking because just put your stuff online and see how people call you to make inquiries. People are just sending texts, they're clicking on the link, making inquiries, you answer everything. Then, buy. It becomes another issue. So people can ask you for price and disappear. They can tell you, I'll get back to you and never get back. That's the buyer behavior in Nigeria. So the earlier you understand it, the better for you. So that you don't start saying, no, they're just calling to make inquiry. Go. No. You have to be very patient and understand the Nigerian buyer. And you have to understand what influences them. So, for instance, customers will often consider price. It's a key factor in Nigeria. Trust is also very necessary. That's why some people ask you, can we do pay on delivery? Because they are afraid that if they give you money, they might not get the goods or they might get what they did not order. Confidence is also key. Quality, then recommendations. That's very fun. In this part of the world, recommendation is key. Someone tells them, I bought from me, and this is it. Then social proof. Yeah, you're able to show your proof of concept and show people that have bought and they prove, that this thing works. That is very necessary. Then your speed, your location, your payment options, and your customer service. That's very necessary also because we have instances where customer service is very poor. People come say, I beg you, if no one buy, come up for there. Nobody will come back to you. They go ask you the issue. So this is what influences Nigerian buyers. So the risk factor for many people is that they will say, if I give this person my money, will I get what I paid for? I told you that is the issue of trust. So that is why reviews, testimonials, referrals, demonstrations, and visible customer experiences matter. You have to show, showing your location, you're showing the testimonials and every other thing. It matters a lot in this business. So the Nigerian example again, let's give you an instance of an online smartphone vendor. Vendor A just posts only the product pictures. So iPhone 10, iPhone 20, iPhone whatever, all the Samsung products, all the pictures are on his page. Then the new service description is a vendor B. You have a vendor B which shows the product videos. It shows you customer reviews. It even shows how you can put on your phone and all the videos about the phone. Then delivery evidence, somebody that got it, his physical location, you can see his address. Then clearly tells you that this phone has a 1-year warranty. Then clear payment instructions. Why are you going to patronize? Clearly you're going to go for the one that has explained everything, rather than the one that just posted only the product pictures. So the key lesson is that customers do not just ask, do I want this? They also ask, can I trust this person? That is also key. So the action point is that look at your business from the customer's perspective. What could make a new customer hesitate before paying you? Fix one of those things. You know it already. Is it your payment structure? Is it your customer service? Is it the way you will respond? Is it a delay? Somebody contacts you today before you respond is in 10 days. These are always the factors that you have to understand. And that is why customers take time to buy. And that is what makes them hesitate before buying. So clearly look at your business very well and work on it. Then we talked about part 3, build your brand around people. So a customer can buy from you once. A community gives them a reason to stay. We talked about the issue of football clubs. That people do not just watch football. They identify with something. The same principle can also apply to business. People just say this club, So you just want that a club that if the club goes, the club is relegated, people follow that club down. Relegated again, they follow it down, up and down. They are traveling with the club. Somebody will tell you, I'm traveling. I've not missed a match in 70 years. Are you asking yourself, is this possible? So this is where we are talking about for issue of business and community. So the fan base for a club is community. So if your business has that kind of fan base, which is a community, then that is an unshakable base that you need to have, and that is key for sustainability of businesses now. So let's look at the fashion business. Company A, let's say the first company their brand effort is just to post a dress. Oh, it's 5,000 for this dress. Then the second company now says build a community around this brand. Well, that's a group, Nigerian fashion, confidence, career women, style inspiration, customer stories, So everything they're talking about fashion, they talk about confidence, they talk about career, they talk about inspiration, customer stories, and everything, that is a whole lot. You understand that gets the customer involved and engaged to make a buying decision and to continue to buy and to even bring more people, because the customer become evangelists for that point. So in this case, for the company that built the community, they're not just buying a dress, they are becoming part of something, and people always want to be part of something. So how do you build your community? People always ask, oh, community, how do I build my community? So you can use WhatsApp groups, Instagram conversations, events, yes, customer appreciation, educational content, customer stories, loyalty programs. These are the ways you build communities. So people may discover your product, but they stay because of how your brand makes them feel. That's key. So the action point, look at your business. I always say, always look at your business from the customer's perspective. Always look at it from that perspective. What will make them hesitate before buying from you? Just put yourself there. We are all customers. Even when you are selling, you are also a customer to another business. So you know what it is that influences your decision to buy from that business. So all apply that in your own business. So why should customers choose you? We touched on that. That's basically brand positioning. And brand positioning, we said, is a clear reason customers choose your business instead of another business offering something similar. So why do customers keep returning to one particular seller? We keep going to MTN to buy. We keep going to MTN to buy their SIM. We keep going to ShopRite. We keep going to this restaurant. Maybe their products are original. That seller is not cheating you. Her prices are fair. And she always has the latest designs. So that's positioning. In your mind, that brand has really positioned themselves. Now people go to buy Baku bread. Because, okay, why do they keep going? They buy today, they buy tomorrow. You understand? Because they know, okay, it's original, the price is fair, and they don't feel cheated. So that is why you have to position your brand, because it's how you position your brand in the mind of the customers that will make them keep coming back. A brand that is not positioned in the mind of customers, then forget it. You are not going to have repeat business. Another example is, let's use two tailors. One sells native wears. One creates perfectly fitted senator wears for busy professionals and delivers within 5 working days. So the second one is easily remembered because the business has simply communicated a clearer promise, not just native wear. If I go scared this, you are doing no. If you know everything in terms of fashion, then you are starting from nothing. So you must have your position, and that's why you come up with a positioning formula that, okay, maybe we help. You can talk about the people you help, busy professionals who help ladies achieve. What are you helping them achieve? Well, achieve the kind of executive look that they need, through your dresses and the things you do. So that's how you communicate this. You have to communicate value. In everything in life, you must have value, even in your business and in your personal life. If there's no value you are bringing, then forget it. You will not even be employed, right? Let alone customers patronizing you. So customers come to you because of that value. So look at this Mama Chef kitchen, for instance. Now it says where busy working families enjoy healthy homemade meals without spending hours in the kitchen. So the key lesson is that customers do not need another business. They just need the reason to choose yours. They need the reason to choose your business, and that is what you should communicate. So even in your communication, after coming to you, you've communicated this and they've come. Does your brand live up to what you've communicated? That is very key. That is very key. So we said the action point is that customers should choose us because, say the reason why they should choose you. What's that market differentiation? What differentiates you from the other business? Because if you cannot complete that sentence clearly, then your position in this work. Because a lot of businesses are not positioned. They don't even know their position. Just say, everybody they sell and we self-join. That's why we've seen a lot of businesses in Nigeria come and go without any impact. Then the part 5, we talked about scale without losing control. We talked about scaling because your business has to scale. A business cannot remain stagnant. And we said that many entrepreneurs feel scaling means more customers, another shop, more staff, more products. People just open 10 branches and they think that is scaling. You've not been able to even set up a system that works in one. You've opened 10, then that's not scaling. You are just wasting your resources in that instance. So these things can be part of growth. More customers, another shop, more staff, more products can be part of growth. But real scaling requires preparation, clearly. So we said, let's look at this scenario. A Lagos caterer receiving $300 after one viral TikTok video. It sounds fantastic now. We say, God has done it. God of miracle. Now we should go and give a testimony in church. Oh, $300 from one viral TikTok video. That is good. But what happens if she can only prepare 50 meals a day? That testimony has become a problem. It has become a problem and a burden. And even in the Bible, they say God will not give you more than what you can chew. So you have to prepare before you scale. So the opportunity here has become a problem. You have 300 orders, but you have only capacity to do 15 meals a day. So that's a problem already, and that is even worse for you, because the kind of blowback you're going to get from this is enough to destroy your brand entirely, what you've tried for so many years to build. So before scaling, ask yourself, can we handle more customers? Can our current team cope? Are our processes documented? Do we have enough working capital? Somebody says, okay, I need you to cater for 10,000 people. But if it's going to give you an advance, it gives you an advance that can only cater for 2,000. So where are you going to get the remaining money to do the other 8,000? Because you're supposed to finish your service before you are paid. So you have to ask, do we have enough working capital? Can we maintain quality? Do we even know our numbers? So most businesses in Nigeria today wake them up and ask them their profit for last year. They don't know because there's no record of it. So let's look at the seven scaling priorities that you should have as a business. You should build repeatable systems that can repeat themselves. You have a system already, so it runs on its own repeatedly. Improve your business model. Develop your team. Developing your team, people just think in Nigeria that training your staff means you are wasting money. No, you have to develop your team to meet up with this scaling opportunity. You have to also use technology. Technology is the leverage for every business. Then create additional revenue opportunities. Strengthen your brand, then measure performance. So the key lesson here is that don't grow your customer base faster than you can grow your capacity. Your customer base will not grow faster. Okay, you have a capacity, you have a small shop that can, no matter what happens, only 100 bread you can bake. Then you have not grown. People are asking for 2,000. You are going to run around. You are going to feel very miserable because you will not be able to meet up with that order. So grow your capacity, then grow your customer base. So action point is that if your customer base double tomorrow, what will break first? This is probably what you need to start improving. That's clear. You have to start improving on that. So then we talked about building a system that can run without you. This is very necessary. So that you can have time to focus on bigger things. You can go for training, you can go for marketing, then you can also step aside and look at the business and be able to implement ideas that move your business forward rather than being there 24/7. So this may be the most important stage of the journey. So ask yourself, if I switch off my phone for 2 weeks, what happens to my business? If everything stops, your business depends too heavily on you. That's the question. So what if you fall ill? What happens? So the three things you need systems. How do you get things done? Then you need people who is responsible for getting them done. Then the process is what steps must be followed to achieve the desired results. That is what you need to set for your business to run without you. Because the ultimate aim is for your business to run without you. Because if you only want to have a very big company with branches globally, then your business has to run without you because you can't be in those places at the same time. So instead of, let's look at the laundry business. Instead of give the clothes to Mama Nkechi, create a process that says, 1, customer order received. Then you're able to count the items. Then the clothes are tagged. That's this for a laundry business, for instance. They receive the order. The items are counted. Okay, you brought 4 shirts. Then the clothes are tagged. It's recorded. Then the washing is assigned to whichever team is going to do it. Then the quality is checked. Then you package. Then the customer is notified that, oh, your clothes is ready, your whatever is ready, then you deliver. So that is creating a process. You create that process. Don't just bring people. Somebody's coming from anywhere and going to, that is very necessary for us. Then we talked about the Vonto SME growth map. In that, we say participants should be able to see their business as a journey. Your business is a journey. It can never be a destination. Even Dangote is still on a journey. So know this and know peace. The step one is that you should know your customer. 2, understand how they buy. We've talked about it. 3, connect with them, build relationship and community. Then the 4th one is to position, give them a reason to choose you. The 5th, grow, increase your revenue and capacity. Then the 6th one is build systems, people and processes. Then the 7th is create a business that can continue growing without depending entirely on you. Okay, rate yourself from 1 to 5. Sometimes you have to tell yourself the truth. I'm not telling you to tell us the score, but in your own heart. The first one is, I clearly understand my ideal customer. What are you going to score yourself here? I understand what my customers buy. My customers trust and recommend my brand. Do they trust your brand really? Do you understand why they buy? Or you want to just to sell? I bet make I just sell below. What's in my business? People just, what's my own? Let me sell. My business has a clear position. I have a plan for growth. My processes are documented. My team can operate without constant supervision. How many businesses have their processes documented? How many can have their team operate without constant supervision? Then I track my important business numbers. Do you track them, or you're too tired to even track? Or you just trust so much in your staff? Oh, no problem. You'll be in for a surprise. Then I use technology effectively. So rate yourself from 1 to 5. We expect to get this feedback from you. Just reach out to us. So wherever you are on this journey, it's never too late, you know. As long as you're alive, as long as you are doing business, there's still time for you to learn and relearn. So that is key. So just reach out to us, and we'll clearly reach out to you, we'll clearly help you and hold you to be able to sort out these things, because we know that some of you, it's very difficult for you to, it's so difficult to unlearn, what you are used to. It takes time. And some of these things, you're going to start small, you're going to start with baby steps. So it's not something we expect that you're going to start and become, even the conglomerates you see, they still make some of these mistakes. But because they are big, we think, okay, these things are not happening. They are still happening there because we work with some of them. So the final reflection, really, ask yourself these 5 questions before you leave. Who exactly am I building this business for? Why should they choose me? What keeps them coming back? What is stopping my business from growing? What must I change so the business can grow beyond me? Those questions, that's the reflection. You must reflect. Life is about reflection. Even it's not just only when you have your birthdays that you say, oh, let me reflect on my life, let me do this. Or every time with regards to your business, at the end of every business day, reflect on what you have done for the day. Go back to the materials we've shared with you from the Vonto business webinars. Look at them and look at the areas where you need to improve. Because just like you have to go to church on Sunday, every Sunday you go to church. The Muslims play 5 times a day, and they go to the mosque every Friday. They do this because no one is righteous. So we keep learning. So don't ever stop learning. Don't ever stop going back to the material. Don't ever stop asking for help to be able to take your business to the next level. So the final word from us here is that every successful business starts somewhere. You start somewhere, clearly. Not all of them will start from a big place. Sometimes start from the kitchen, sometimes in a small shop. Sometimes you just have one laptop, one customer, one entrepreneur who simply refuse to give up. There's nothing wrong with starting small. The problem is remaining small because the business was never structured to grow. So sometimes you remain small, not of your own making, but the business was never structured. So if your business is not structured to grow, no matter what you do, it will remain small. So your first responsibility as an entrepreneur is to make the business work. Your next responsibility is to make it work consistently, not just work now and stop. Oh, we know for a lot of businesses in Nigeria, oh, they were so big before, now they've gone down. That should not be what you should do. Because if you have the necessary structures in place, then your business will work consistently. And eventually, your responsibility is to make it work without everything depending on you. It's not only when you are there that the business should work. The business should be able to work without you. That is the key. If your business is not working without you, then it's just a hustle. You are hustling. You are just in another job, really. So don't just do something that makes money. Do something that can grow, something that can create value, something that can create jobs and stand the test of time. That is the journey from hustle to structure. That's it. Vonto Business Solutions. Our target, clearly, we keep saying it, is to help businesses move from hustle to structure. So I hope we've been of help to you, and those that have reached out to us can also testify that we've We've done a lot to help them and to also guide them on this journey. So we have two quick questions here in the chat room. Someone says, when scaling a business, should the SME owner focus first on getting more customers or on improving the existing business structure? Why? Just like we talked about, we said you should focus on improving your existing business structure. You must have the system in place, because if you have more customers, like we said, you have 200 or 400 new customers and you have the capacity to only sell 50, then there's a problem. Then you are going to get bad reviews and your business may not even recover from it. So build your structure, put the systems in place necessary for you for scaling. So before you scale, you must improve your existing business structure. You must have a structure, not just hustling. So I think that's pretty straightforward. Then this one says, Temitope says, how can the SME scale without taking on expenses he cannot comfortably afford, especially with the current cost of doing business in Nigeria? Well, that's part of it now. So you're not always going to scale. Scaling is not opening new branches, setting up, buying cars. So we're scaling, staff cars, everybody moving. Then, a lot of businesses are like that too. They're like onesies, they deceive themselves. You can't deceive yourself, you can deceive others. So people just think, oh, this business is making progress, but the systems are not in place. So if you have the structure, build your system and structure, you're not going to take on expenses you cannot afford. Taking on expenses you cannot afford clearly shows that you don't have a structure or a system in place and you're just hustling. So you just do things based on vibes, whatever is happening. Because a business that has a structure, we know that these are our finance, this is what we can afford, these are the things we need, that we need to grow our business. You don't need to do so much. You don't need to go out of your way to impress people. That is not a business that has structure. So a business cannot scale. A business scaling by taking on expenses cannot cover that is not scale. That's not the right word to use in this instance. That business is not scaling, because you can only scale when you have the system. You put in the system, you have the structure and the necessary structure, and the business can run without you. You have the repeat customers coming. There's a process already. You are leveraging on technology and every other thing to grow your business. So that is when you can really say that business has scaled. So any business that is taking on, for instance, I'm doing 1 million and I'm buying things 10 million, 20 million, no, that's not a business. That one is just vibes. And we have a lot of them in Nigeria. So let me tell you something. In anything that has to do with business, for business owners, forget about impressing the public. Build your structure. Nobody's going to feed you. Nobody's going to help you when your business goes down. Financing in Nigeria is a difficult thing. So whatever resource you have steward that resource very well. So that's why we say you should put a system in place. So don't even be tempted to go out and someone tells you do this, do that. Businesses that have all done that, where you see the owners lavishing money, deceiving themselves. So this business is booming. They don't last. We've all seen them. It gets to a point, that tap dries up, and that is the end for that business. So then a question just came now. So at what point should an SME owner stop doing everything themselves and start building a team, especially when the business is still operating on a tight budget? Well, with regards to having a tight budget, so when you start a business, first of all, you do all these things by yourself. Then as the business is growing, you get one person, you get two people. So you're not going to, you can't be on a tight budget and you have 10 staff. That's clear. So having a system and structure also will help you come out of this tight budget, because we say when you have a system and the structure that you need, then your sales and other things will move without you. And when the business starts operating without you, then the business starts growing even financially. Because if your business is not growing financially, then clearly it's not even growing at all. So you are going to stop doing everything yourself when you have the structure in place and the system in place. And how are you going to have that? So you start only you doing everything. You've been able to grow. You keep your records. Even as you are doing your business as a one-man business, you must have your records. You must document your processes. You're not going to say until you have all the necessary staff. No. You start at that level. At that level, you are 720 customers. You have all that. And when you keep that account, clearly the issue of being on a tight budget will become a thing of the past. So at that level, you start taking in more people as your budget allows. You are not going to do more than yourself. So that's what, in the question that Temitope asks, that is also the same thing. So taking on expenses you cannot afford is not part of having a system or structure. That is not even a business. You are running on vibes. Because when you get on that structure, then as the business grows, you have maybe an accounting consultant. You don't have to have an accountant full-time in-house. And I've also said that you don't have to take on staff. You can outsource. For instance, a tailor, you get clothes, give to other tailors. Maybe, for instance, you are charging 20 or 30,000 to make those clothes. Then you give them and you pay them 15. Then your 15 is your profit. That's another way that you can do business. People outsource a lot. So don't say until you get the staff, you must have all the staff. Everybody's your staff. No, you are not going to have the space for all that now. So in that kind of business, you can outsource. So also it is for people that sell goods. So as you are selling, you don't need to have all the inventory. People in your area, people that sell the same thing like you want to fulfill orders, you take from them to fulfill those orders. You just have to be smart. So in a country where funding is very hard, you can fund your business through that means because they also want to sell. Your colleagues that are not online want to sell. You take from them, you make supplies, and you give them their money. But integrity is now what counts at this point. So you don't have to take on people with some stuff you can't really afford. So how can a business owner know whether the business is actually growing or simply becoming busier? It's clear now. In your account, in your books, really, you're not making money. Your budget is still tight. You know that clearly you're not growing. You're not growing. You're just busy. You're just doing activity, running up and down. You don't even have the customer base. So you can be very busy doing all sorts, but are people coming back? Do you have repeat customers? Do you have a structure that is helping you know? Because when you have a structure and a system, you are able to know. That system includes having the right staff, having the right accounting system, having the right financial system in place. All these things, they have their software that can help you. There are people you can get on a part-time basis because not every small business that can have an in-house accountant. So you can have those on a part-time basis and they're able to tell you the health of your business. That is very necessary. So you're able to separate your business resources from your personal resources because in Nigeria, people just turn their businesses to ATM before they know that business is down. Then from Henry here, we say, how can a business owner tell whether the business is truly growing, okay, or just getting busier without becoming more profitable or efficient? So that's the same question that was asked previously, and you will know. By the time you look at your outgoings and what you need to grow your business, you have to have your books. That's why we say everything has to be documented. In most businesses, do not document anything. They are just selling money in the pocket of the owner. He's just bringing it out. He doesn't know that there's no profit there. So let's take an instance of retail. A retailer can sell 5 million worth of goods a day. He's counting money. We say now, wow, this man don't make a money. But that 5 million naira might not even be, there might not be any profit in it because a lot of the goods have been sold by staff. Some of them they did not even sell properly. So you have to have that system. So if you need to have an inventory system in your business, you should need it. That's why we say leverage on technology. If you need to have an accounting software, you need that. If you need to outsource to maybe a friend or a small accountant that can help you as you are starting, then you need that. That will help you to know whether you are profitable and efficient, not just running around. So customers everywhere, the woman too busy, we're too busy. So that's why you see, you approach a business owner, you ask, oh, help me with, so you say, I don't have. You are seeing money with the person. The person is not making any profit because the business is not even efficient. It's just counting money. And what is probably counting is maybe losses. So for you to know that your business is truly growing, you need to look at your books. And your books, you can have, even if you don't have automated systems, have your book, have your records. How much did you buy these goods? How much did you sell it? At what point? How long did it stay in your shop? Inventory, look at it. Okay, what are the things that are damaged? For instance, if it's a restaurant, how much did you get it? So those are the things. So you have to know your books. No matter how scary it is, you have to know what it is. So you know whether you are doing business or you are playing. That is key. Know your books, have your structure, know your system. And that is what it entails. That is only when you know that you have moved from hustle to structure. Because hustlers do not know whether they are making profit or not. I asked somebody in the market, I can never forget, how do you know if you're making profit? Sir, we'll know. We won't want to go back to the market to buy, and our money is not enough. We know that, yes, there's people have stolen from us, maybe the apprentice or whatever have stolen. But if the money is enough, they'll know, okay, I say that's not a good way to run business. Because a lot of businesses you go and patronize, like retailers, they don't have records. But that should not be your case. Anyone that has been on the Vonto business webinar knows that should not be the case. So I think we've had a very good season. For the past 7 sessions, we've talked about hustle to structure, and that is very key. So everyone just had the hustle or the hustle. No. Now it's time to build structure and systems. That is the only way it can work. Churches have it. Churches have structures and systems. That's why they're able to expand. That's why they're able to have and control their branches from their headquarters. Conglomerates have it. You don't need to be so big to have all that. Fast food restaurant, everybody, they all have that. So if you are doing the business and you're not into the food, any industry you are in, document your process, know it comfortably, build a structure and system so that you're able to scale that business and let that business be able to run without you. Plug linkages where you need to. If you're in retail, if you need to get the inventory stuff, you need to even get CCTV cameras and other things. That is all you need to support your business, because building a business is hard work, and we don't want to assume, but after building your business and somebody somewhere just brings down or destroys every work you've done. And we know that you're going to be successful. All you need is to reach out to us, follow us on our social media handles, reach out to us, send us messages. Then we can also come to your business place to see what it is that we can do. And for those businesses that we've worked with, clearly we know that we have a lot more to do as you move into the next phase of your business. And we know that clearly you are going to contribute to the growth of this economy. Clearly. Okay, so till next time, my name is Ndoka Emeliko. Take care.